Have you ever cared so much for someone that you started losing yourself? At first, it feels good. You're warm, you're giving, you want to make it work. But over time, you notice something. The more you give, the more they expect. The more you care, the less they seem to respect you. And suddenly, you're not in control anymore. Your emotions are. Being kind is easy, being caring is easy, but being able to stay calm, to stay strong, to stay cold when you need to, that's real strength. Because not everyone deserves all of you. Not everyone should have access to your emotions. I once saw a man give everything to save a relationship. He forgave things he shouldn't have. He accepted disrespect. He stayed longer than he should have. All because he was afraid to let go. He thought love meant giving more. But by the time it ended, he realized he had given up the wrong thing. Not the relationship, but himself. That's why learning emotional detachment is so important. It's not about being cold-hearted. It's about being strong enough to know when to care and when to protect yourself. Today, I'm going to show you how to stay warm when it's right and cold when you have to be, so you never lose yourself again. Because if you don't understand where you lose your power, you'll keep giving it away without even realizing it. And it always starts in one place, where others use your emotions against you. The first step to staying strong is learning how to recognize emotional leverage and how to take it back. 1. Understand emotional leverage and how to reclaim it. Most people don't lose control of their emotions all at once. They lose it piece by piece, the moment someone learns how to push the right buttons. And trust me, people are very good at finding your buttons. They figure out what you care about. They notice what makes you react. They sense where you are vulnerable, and once they know, they use it against you. It could be guilt. It could be fear. It could be your need to be understood, loved, or forgiven. Whatever it is, it becomes emotional leverage. They don't have to argue with you. They don't have to force you. All they have to do is pull that emotional string, and you do the rest. If you don't recognize this early, you won't be living by your own choices. You'll be living by their manipulation. You'll think you're deciding, but you're only reacting. And every time you react, you hand over your power without even realizing it. Here's what you need to do. Sit down somewhere quiet. Take out a notebook and write down 3 emotional triggers that make you lose control. Maybe it's being ignored. Maybe it's feeling misunderstood. Maybe it's someone questioning your worth. Whatever they are, you must name them. Because if you cannot name your triggers, you cannot tame them. And then start observing. In your next real conversation, pay attention to when those triggers light up. Notice when your chest tightens, when your voice sharpens, when your urge to defend yourself rises. Because awareness is the beginning of emotional sovereignty. You can't control what you don't even recognize. Understanding emotional leverage is the first step. It's how you stop playing someone else's game. But knowing it isn't enough. You need something stronger, something that keeps you steady when emotional storms hit. You need an anchor inside yourself. And that's exactly what we're going to build next. 2. Build your internal anchor. Stay rooted when storms hit. When life gets turbulent, when emotions run high, you need something inside you that doesn't move. Without an anchor, you'll get pulled by every emotional wave around you. Anger, guilt, pressure, fear. You'll find yourself reacting to everything, absorbing energy that was never yours to begin with. You'll confuse someone else's chaos with your own, and once you start reacting to emotions that aren't even yours, you lose control without even realizing it. An internal anchor changes that. It keeps you steady, no matter what's happening around you. It reminds you, no one else gets to decide how you feel. Not their anger, not their sadness, not their fear. You are not responsible for carrying emotions that don't belong to you. You are only responsible for managing what happens inside your own heart. Here's how you build that anchor. The next time emotions rise, whether it's anger, sadness, frustration, pause. Take a deep breath, feel your body settle, and silently ask yourself, is this really mine to carry? Because sometimes what you're feeling isn't even yours. It's the room's energy. It's someone else's mood leaking into your space. Learning to ask that simple question puts you back in control. It reminds you that you have a choice. You can pick up the weight, or you can leave it where it belongs. You don't have to carry every emotion handed to you. You don't have to bleed for people who refuse to heal themselves. You don't have to drown in storms that aren't yours to fight. Having an anchor inside you gives you stability. It keeps you calm when everything else is spinning. But even with an anchor, there's still a critical moment you must face. The moment where you have to choose, will you react or will you respond? And how you handle that moment will define whether you stay powerful or give your power away again. 3. Respond, don't react. You know that moment. When someone says something that cuts deeper than it should. Maybe it's a jab. Maybe it's a disrespect. Maybe it's just a careless word, but it hits. And without thinking, your heart jumps. Your mind races. Your mouth gets ready to fire back. It's almost automatic. Most people lose the battle right there. Not because they're weak, but because they didn't see it coming. They react. Quick, emotional, unfiltered. They snap, they shout, they defend. And just like that, they hand over control to the other person. Reacting feels powerful in the moment. It feels good to fight back. It feels right to defend yourself. But here's the thing. Reacting is easy. It's cheap. It costs you nothing to react, until you realize it just cost you your peace. Because every time you react out of anger, you let someone else decide who you are in that moment. You let the heat of the moment rewrite your story. Responding is different. Responding says, I'm still feeling everything, but I'm not letting feelings run the show. Responding is breathing through the anger. It's pausing when your ego screams for revenge. It's choosing dignity over emotional chaos. Here's how you start building that muscle. The next time emotions surge, and they will, don't rush to speak. Pause. 3 seconds, just enough to catch the fall, before you tumble into regret. In those 3 seconds, ask yourself, am I speaking from strength or from pain? If it's strength, go ahead. If it's pain, wait. Slow your voice, lower your shoulders. Choose words like you're setting stones, not throwing weapons. Because those 3 seconds, they are not just seconds. They are power. They save relationships you care about. They protect reputations you worked years to build. They guard your own soul from yourself. And over time, you'll realize something powerful. People start respecting you more. Not because you shouted louder, but because you stayed calmer. And sometimes the real victory isn't just in staying calm. It's knowing when not to say anything at all. Because not every battle needs your sword. Some battles need your silence. Mastering your response is how you stay free, even when others try to drag you into their storms. But sometimes, the strongest move you can make is to step back completely. And that's what we'll talk about next. Learning to disconnect without guilt. 4. Learn to disconnect when necessary without guilt. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is to step back. Not because you hate someone, not because you're angry, not because you're trying to punish them, but because you finally understand your energy is sacred. Emotional detachment isn't cruelty, it's self-respect. It's knowing that when someone crosses your line, you don't owe them endless access to your heart. You don't have to explain yourself 100 times. You don't have to fight to be seen. You don't have to stay just because you used to care. Caring is beautiful. Caring is human. But caring without boundaries turns love into self-betrayal. Here's the truth most people never tell you. You can disconnect without yelling, without drama, without guilt. You can simply step back, quietly, calmly, completely, because you're not walking away out of rage. You're walking away out of clarity. You're protecting the peace you worked so hard to build inside yourself. And you don't need permission to do that. Here's a simple practice. When you feel someone pushing past your boundaries, when you feel drained, when you feel like you're losing yourself just to keep them comfortable, pause, take a deep breath, and visualize yourself mentally stepping back, not slamming doors, not making grand exits, just calmly reclaiming your emotional space, almost like you're standing in your own quiet castle and simply closing the gates, because you know not everyone deserves to be inside. And you'll notice something powerful happen. The more you protect your space without drama, the more your dignity speaks for itself. You'll stop wasting energy trying to prove your worth. You'll stop needing to defend why you pulled back. You'll realize you never needed to explain self-respect. It explains itself in how you move, in how you walk away, in how you keep your peace. And once you can step back without guilt, you'll realize something even deeper. You don't always need words to protect yourself. Sometimes silence speaks louder than any explanation ever could. And that's where your final power lies. Mastering the art of silence and letting your energy speak for you. 5. Master silent coldness. Energy speaks louder than words. Sometimes the loudest thing you can say is saying nothing at all. When you react, you're giving energy. You're feeding the situation. You're keeping the fire alive. But when you stay silent, when you just hold your ground, you force people to sit with their own noise. You force them to feel the weight of what they did, without you needing to explain it 100 times. Silence, when used on purpose, is pure strength. It's not giving up. It's not weakness. It's not coldness without heart. It's a different kind of power, the kind that says, I know who I am. I don't need to fight for what's already mine. You don't have to explain your standards to everyone. You don't have to argue every time someone crosses a line. You don't have to beg to be understood. Sometimes, you just need to live your standards, quietly, firmly, without apology, and let your actions, let your calm presence do the explaining for you. Here's a simple way to practice it. In your next emotional conversation, cut your talking time in half. Speak clearly. Say what matters. No extra justifications, no rambling, no trying to win. Then stop. Let the silence do the work. When you go quiet after setting your line, it feels different. People feel it in their gut. They feel it in the air between you. It's no longer about words, it's about energy. It's about weight. They realize you're not arguing your value. You're not chasing validation. You've already decided who you are, and whether they rise to meet you or fall away, you're at peace either way. And here's something else no one tells you. When you stay calm and silent, you make the other person feel the full weight of their choices. No yelling, no lectures, just presence. And trust me, presence hits harder than any angry words ever could. The real ones will feel it and step up. The wrong ones will feel it and step back. Either way, you win, because you stayed loyal to yourself. Silent coldness isn't about building walls around your heart. It's about learning that your peace, your energy, your dignity are too valuable to waste on people who can't even hear you unless you're shouting. And you're done shouting. You're done explaining. You're done lowering yourself just to be seen. Now, you move differently. You move quietly. You move with power. The coldest man isn't heartless. He's untouchable. If you want to keep your peace,
Your strength.
your soul, there are a few truths you have to live by. Understand emotional leverage. Know when someone's using your heart against you. Build your internal anchor. Stay rooted, even when the world tries to shake you. Respond deliberately. Never react impulsively. Pause. Breathe. Decide. Disconnect without guilt when needed. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because sometimes it does. Master the silent power of presence. Let your energy speak louder than your words ever could. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't have to be heartless to be untouchable. The coldest man in the room isn't heartless. He's simply untouchable. Untouchable because he belongs to himself first. And if you're serious about mastering this level of presence, this level of power, hit that like button right now. Not for the algorithm, but as a commitment to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this today. Someone who's been giving too much for too long. And if you're ready to go even deeper, to command any room without chasing attention, watch the next video right here, because the world doesn't listen to noise anymore. It listens to presence.